Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of House of Tremere, episode 10. I hope you're excited for some fun, chaotic times as we dive into the relationships and investigations of the recently departed. That is to say, vampires. Creatures of unknown and perhaps sometimes exaggerated powers, but nonetheless, we are here to see them either thrive or fall into dismay. With that, why don't we begin by doing some introductions of our dear players and the characters that they will be playing for us? This week, why don't we start with uh, Bob, why don't you start it off this week?
Hey everybody, Ticking Time Bob here. We are over at Ticking Time Bob Gaming. I'm playing Jordy, who is the best mid-level manager that Tremere have right now, because all the other managers died.
Exactly. So hopefully we'll see him managing the rest of the clan well. Or alternatively, watching as everything falls apart around him. Uh, Next up, why don't we go to Emily? Emily, why don't you give us your introduction?
Hi, I'm Emily. I play Kess Price, the head of security somehow, and the one who occasionally knocks Jordy off his pedestal by calling him a petulant child.
Fun, fun, fun. Nothing like having someone that's willing to insult their superiors. I'm sure that won't go bad at all for Kess. I'm sure everything will be fine.
I mean, it's only Jordy, to be fair.
That's true.
It's typically just Jordy.
With that, up next, Ree, why don't you give us your introduction?
Hi everyone, I'm Ree here. Play Maruna, and today we're gonna actually go on a accompanying, chaperoning a date-ish tense meeting between estranged spouses, and I'm sure that it'll be fine.
Exactly.
Yeah, excited to get started.
I'm sure nothing will go wrong, and there won't be any poignant moments with you and all your strange visions. Uh,
Yeah.
Up next, Zach, why don't you give us your intro?
Sure, I'm Zach. I'm playing Hasib, the perpetual student, the new kid on the block. Definitely doesn't ask too many questions and annoy the entire chantry. Hasib is ready to be Hacker Man's this session, and hopefully be the guardian angel. That's scary of the group as they go to a visit to the museum. Can't wait.
Exactly. It'll be interesting to see how things unfold. And whether or not Hasib will truly be able to perform the role of the guardian angel, or if he will be forced to watch as everything falls apart. Uh, Instead of around him, around his companions. Fun. And last, but certainly not least, Cyberbro, why don't you give us an introduction?
Hello, everyone. I am Cyberbro. Um, I've had an awesome day, but I'm on the edge of sneezing. Anyway, I'm playing Dr. Quangle, who is he's going to meet his estranged wife for the first time after their separation. So today's going to be an interesting day.
I'm sure things are going to be fine. I'm sure it's not going to end in some kind of bad revelation of some kind. What are the chances?
Hopefully not.
And I am your storyteller for tonight's event, Mark, aka the CatsMeow. This is my Twitch channel, or perhaps you're watching this later on the YouTube where the VOD will be uploaded. If you are watching, make sure to follow us, give us a like, subscribe for more, and also subscribe to the Twitch if you want to continue to support us. Also, if you want to continue to watch the videos ad-free. Otherwise, for those who don't, there will be ads that are showing up. Each ad helps us in some way, I imagine, eventually. But until then, please enjoy, and I hope you're excited for some more vampire-y goodness. I think with that, we can jump right in. We focus in on another radio. This one sits within what looks to be a small, box-like office. A security booth, to be more precise. Upon which we see a slightly overweight, slightly out-of-shape security guard that seems to be leaning back in his chair, eyes closed, with what looks to be a newspaper sitting on his chest. We pull into the actual radio itself as we hear a voice begin to crackle through the static. Another Monday night has fallen upon us, New Angleton, which means it's time for the real ones to wake up. The clubs are pulsing, the alleys are steaming, and somewhere out there, someone's fallen in love with a stranger they won't remember by sunrise. You're in the countdown. I'm Caligula. Let's take a call. With that, there is a click as the lines open, and a voice peeks through the darkness. Yeah, hey, am I on? Only in front of thousands of lonely hearts. Got a dedication or a confession for us? Neither, man. I saw something weird. I really didn't know who else I could really talk to about it. I mean, so I was at, Circus Warehouse. You know, the club near the river? It was packed, man. You know, lights everywhere, you know, classic, you know, deal. And I saw this dude on the dance floor, and there was just something off. You know, he was tall, pale, you know, black suit. Something I like those, you know, those old movies. But he wasn't like, you know, dancing like everyone else was. He was just gliding. Like his arms were moving slow, you know, like water or some shit. Ooh, sounds dreamy. They asked you to dance? Or was he simply there to steal your soul or something? Well, that's the weird part. It was like no one else saw him. People would almost bump into nothing, like they were stepping around him without noticing. He was looking right at me. There's no blinking. Nothing, just staring. I don't know, it was freaky. Well, someone's been dipping glow sticks like the cough syrup. Well, that's a city for you. Full of shadows and strange people with good taste in suits. You sure you didn't lock eyes with your future friend or something? Nah, whatever that was, I don't want to meet that thing again. Hey, what's over there? I think there's something... The line goes dead. Oh. Just like that, I guess he vanished into the mists of a Monday night rave scene. Speaking of questionable men and mysterious intentions, here's the 93 classic that'll break your heart and then bop your head. This is Hideaways. What is love? And try not to look too deeply into anyone's eyes tonight. You never know what you might find in there. With that, the iconic opening sound and beat of What is Love begins to play. We then cut back to the booth. where we see the out of weight security guard simply rise to his feet, his chair kind of snapping forward as he does, and we see the static on the radio begin to come through, hiding the lyrics of the song, but keeping the beat there strong enough. The security guard closes, kind of narrows his eyes, I should say, and kind of looks out through the window of his booth. And he sees something that seems to be rustling in what looks to be a bush nearby. Watches he kind of sighs and begins to hike up his pants, readying his gun that is in a holster at his side, as he begins to open up the booth and step out. With that, we cut to another perspective. This one in deep reds that seems to cover the entire image. We see a creature low to the ground, looking out at the man who has just stepped out of the booth. We watch as the creature moves, its line of sight moving with such speed. We then cut to the perspective of the security guard as he's kind of looking around, narrowing his eyes. He says, "Anyone out there? Those stupid kids again. I swear to God, if you are messing around again, I will call the police this time. Hello?" He steps out further. 1 step, 2 step. We then suddenly cut to the perspective of the red-tinted gaze, as we see it hunched down, like a predator ready to strike. We then watch with a sudden burst of speed, it breaks out towards the security guard as we see the security guard turn, reach for his gun, and scream. But before he can let out the words, this creature bites down upon his neck and forces him to the ground, tearing into him. We pull back out as shadows begin to fall upon the monster that has taken the security guard by force, tearing into his flesh with what looks to be large claws and gnashing teeth, as we see blood begin to spill out around him. Is at this point, the camera begins to move upwards, as we see the sign that is next to the door, that sits next to the security post. The sign reads, "The New Angleham Museum of History." With that, why don't one of you give us a quick recap of what happened of last session, I should say. I'll find some good music to go. Who would like to lead the recap? Someone volunteer, or someone's gonna be voluntold.
All right.
Cool.
I'll do it. Cool. Last session. Okay, so last session we started making our preparations to go out and do our specific tasks. So from the perspective of Dr. Quangle and Maruna, Quangle used something called the Domino of Life to allow him to eat as a normal person would. With that ritual, you're only able to replicate one facet of being alive. He chose to be able to eat. And he held aloft his ritual container, his vial of blood, and said, "Oh, the Domino of Life. It was very epic. You should have been there." For the other group, Kess and Jordy made preparations to go out to the museum because they're going to follow the lead of the seed issue. One seed was stolen from the Tremere, and we believe that that seed is in the museum. And then the episode ended with Bite Geist saying the show is about to begin. Cliff Notes. That's the Cliff Notes for last episode.
All right. Any other points people would like to raise of things that happened during last session, or any clarifications?
I broke.
Yeah.
Oh, Zacho.
Oh. I just want to bring it to a point because we're going to be talking to the estranged wife soon, but there was an awkward conversation between Dr. Quangle, Maruna, and Hasib about Quangle's estranged wife and possible daughter, I believe it was, that is very dead, as he coldly put it.
So,
Yeah,
other
she
thing
did.
to add. So, yeah.
She did.
Kes broke the gargoyle. The gargoyle was having a crisis of Michael was having a crisis on whether or not he was helpful. Kes tried to help. That crisis ended up sitting on the floor with Michael, trying to explain that it was fine to not help. It's okay. And then the gargoyle started empathizing with Kes. Which was weird, and Kes was letting happen. And Kes was kind of empathizing with the gargoyle's experience, and the gargoyle was talking about his beginnings being pain, and then said humiliation about the scariest voice we could have gotten from him, which was not Michael's voice. Sure, that's not going to have any unforeseen consequences, but felt it was worth mentioning.
And Hasib and Maruna had a good talk as they were doing their study times in the library. Talk about emotions and their past, and Hasib's possibly wiped memory, and that you can't find emotional maturity in books, which is wild. I mean, Hasib never would have guessed. And the book that's talking to him gave a name for its mystery, personality, or sentience, which was, I think it was Garot or Garot's, the 11th, which,
Rot the 11th.
like like the strangling wire that people use, that kind of thing. That's not shady or anything. So it's gonna be fine.
Very nice. I think with that, we're probably good to jump right in. But before we do, I need all of you to roll me a d10. Alright. Ooh.
Jordy has superpowers. Or that's bad. We don't know.
Or opposite of superpowers.
Yeah, we don't know which end is bad.
It's a good question.
To be fair, I was getting ones and was having a really bad time, so it might be one.
Alright then. With that, we will start ourselves where we last left off. As the forms of Kes and Geordie step into the museum, or the Anglehem Museum of Culture.
As Jordy steps in, he kind of looks around at the immediate area. He's dressed in slightly, well, he tends to be a good dresser overall. Not fashionable, just never dressed down too much. He's slightly more dressed up than that, even tonight. Just short of wearing a tie. But everything else is in place.
Tess is dressed about as formal as anyone's ever seen him in the chantry, which is black button-up shirt, black dress pants. He has button-up shirt unbuttoned to a degree and necklaces that line his throat. but other than that, just normal him. Are there other people coming? Because it is technically still open. We're cutting it close, but the museum is open.
The museum is indeed open, and there are people that are here.
Okay.
The time itself is around 7 p.m. So you have about 2 hours before the museum closes.
Okay.
Do we have any sense of what we're even looking for, other than it being
Nope.
here?
Not a
Excellent.
clue.
That's what I thought you would say. It should work out
Listen.
just fine.
I found out what our prior, well, I found out what he was looking into. That's all I can get you. I can't get you exactly what it is.
What do we know? It was recently exhibited here,
It is exhibited here. It's in the
but I mean,
special exhibit.
it's recent,
Yes.
and it's in the
They
special
should talk
exhibit.
about it on Thursdays.
That should narrow it down in and of itself.
With that, as you step in,
Alright.
you find yourself are in the I forget the name of it, but like the big main area where there's like a bunch of desks and information desks where you buy tickets. And you can see there is a line of people. It's not very long, but there are a line of people waiting to get in.
Is there like a member holders line or is there like a VIP line?
Yeah, I'd say there probably would be for those who are members of the
I get in it.
museum. All right.
We're kind of like in a lineup right now, Mark, or we've kind of already gotten through?
Well, if you're currently in the area where people line up, but you have seen Kess get into the smaller line that's like the VIP line that says members only. And there are other people that have lined up in the longer line.
Jordy will walk over with Kess.
Alright. Eventually, Kess, one of the persons at the desk, kind of gestures you over and says, "Hello and welcome. Is this your first time visiting the Angleham Museum of Cultural History?"
It is not. My parents are actually patrons. I came to see the newer exhibit. They were anxious to hear about it.
Oh, of course. Wonderful. Can I see your member's card?
Has well, so I can ask you this question. Would he have a member's card through that?
Why don't you roll me a d10? Tell me high or
Let's
low before you
go.
roll.
You know, if not, I'm sure I'll try. 7. That's better than I thought I would do.
You did say high, right?
Oh, I didn't say high or low. Oh no.
Say
I'm
high or
so
low
sorry.
and then roll.
Alright, low. Wow, thank you. Alright.
Yep.
I don't have a card. Let me... Sorry,
think
my notes are in a
because
thing
I
and they're
think
not.
it's funny. You reach into your back pocket and realize you don't have your wallet on you.
Great. I don't have my whole wallet?
No.
Great. Well, he
Not
has
with an
no
8.
proof whatsoever. So I have no money, I have no cards, I have nothing.
Nope.
How quick can I get to the chantry and back?
It would take you around 30
Because
minutes.
I don't have a way to pay for us to get in, even if I don't have those things. All right. Kess will wave her off for a second, look at Jordy, and be like, "I'll be back. Just wait here."
Oh, what do you mean? Where are you going?
I don't want to talk about it. And he'll just keep walking.
I guess I'll see you inside then. And with that, he'll step up to the front of the VIP line.
Can I help you, sir?
Just looking to pass through.
Do you have a member's card with you?
Oh, there's a right. He's gonna reach for his wallet and he's going to say he's gonna pull out some 20s. He's gonna get to like 5, and he's gonna say, I think it's right here. Actually, he's terrible at this, but he saw it in a movie once. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you roll the This will be.
I mean, that's decent money. That's in 1999.
Manipulation and subterfuge. And this will be difficulty 5 because it is a lot of money.
Mhm. And correction, he's not terrible at this. What's the difficulty 5? You said
5, yeah. Yeah, 3 successes. She just kind of looks and goes, "Of course, sir. Go right in." Kind of takes the money and then puts it in her pocket.
he'll wander
And
in.
she also pulls out what is like a ticket that says all access.
He nods.
Would you like some brochures for the exhibitions that are on currently?
Any you have would be quite wonderful.
Of course. Reaches in and she pulls out what is 4 different brochures.
He'll give a look back, presumably seeing Kess having exited, and if he assuming Kess has like left the building, he's gonna make his way towards the he's gonna try to find anything around a special exhibit, and just try and scout while he waits.
All right. With that, we're going to say Kess is able to get back home to the chantry and then back in record time. And during this time, you get a bit of a look around at what exhibitions seem to be on. At the moment, in the main gallery, which is what you immediately find yourself walking into, there is an exhibition that is the permanent exhibition of the museum called New Angleham, Founding Fire and Faith. You also
That's
see...
the new exhibit.
No, that's the permanent exhibit. This one's been here.
Okay.
The newer exhibits are the following. There are what look to be 3 wings. One is the western wing, the other is the eastern wing, and then the northern wing. Here we go. The eastern wing is called Raiders and Ruins, or Raiders and Runes, Norse Legacy on the Isle of Man. The exhibition in the West Gallery is called Mysteries of the Islands, Sacred Voodoo Traditions of Haiti. And then there is the final exhibition, Kings of the Carpathians, the Dacian Legacy. And that is in the northern wing.
Well, we had some conversations about Carpathian something, I believe, if memory serves, in character.
Yeah.
So
Cass briefed them all on exactly what the exhibit was.
yeah, the Dacian Legacy. That's right. Okay, so he will make his way slowly there.
All right then. I will say, as you do, you find yourself having to walk through the exhibit on New Angleham. And as you do, you find there's like a placard that is on the entranceway to the main gallery that says, "A legacy cast in brick and blood." And as you make your way in, you can see there are wide glass panels, there are polished brass, as well as sepia tone lighting that give this room a almost reverent cathedral-like quality. You can see at the heart of this gallery looks to be a man that is dressed in 19th century German attire. His hands are clasped behind his back and he gazes towards the day. And you see a quote is written beneath the statue that says, "Let industry rise and sin be silent." John Wilhelm Richter, 1834.
Does the name ring a bell to me for any
Make
reason?
an intelligence politics. This will be difficulty 7. And we'll say in the time that it takes for Kess to get back, eventually you return and you find that Geordie has done the preliminary scouting, but he is still at this sign, so you can also make that roll. Intelligence politics if you have it.
Intelligence politics, got you.
Has,
For all he knew, sorry. For all he knew, like Kess was just going out the door to feed or something.
Yeah.
Like he didn't know if Kess was going home. So
has Hasib got into the system? Because Hasib would have spam called the cell phone if Kess was leaving.
I assume
Kess
Kess
ignores
wouldn't.
the phone calls.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
assumed
he's
as much.
ignoring the phone calls. He's living in the lividness of his own embarrassment. He's good. What was the difficulty for the intelligence politics?
Difficulty 7.
7.
7. Oh, nothing.
Okay.
It's going well.
I got one.
Yeah. For you, Geordie, the name is certainly familiar. For one, you know that this is the supposed founder of the city. Supposedly he was a wealthy Bavarian merchant who supposedly had a dream about this location in the New World, and thus why he traveled here. However, the name itself sounds more familiar in the circles of kindred. You think this man may have been a kindred, or may have been a prominent ghoul? In either case, he is certain not only important to the mortal history of New Angleham, but is somehow important to the kindred history. But you would have to do more research on the topic to find out more information.
Got it.
And as you make your way through, there is a lot of things that are talking about the history of it, such as that the city was established by German immigrants in the 1830s, fleeing the post-Napoleonic unrest and religious persecution. You find a number of these were of the Lutheran faith, and we're just trying to avoid persecution in the area of Europe. The settlement itself was built with planned symmetry, cobblestone prominence, and stone Lutheran chapels. And there is specifically a plaque as well that is dedicated that says, "Richter believes the location was sanctified, shielded from temptation by the surrounding lakes and forests." There is then a section that is listed, "The Great Fire of 1849, in which much of the original town was destroyed. Many of the survivors claim that the fire began at the original cathedral that was built. However, there was no cause that was ever proven. Afterwards, the city was rebuilt, emphasized in iron, brick, and order, which created the industrial Gothic skyline that is seen today in the city. It also shows that there is a recovered relic from the fire, what looks to be a half-melted iron cross that has been warped and blackened. It sits within a glass case. And there's a couple of people that seem to be looking over it going, interesting.
Noted. I think Jordy, as he walks through this room, is just doing the typical visitor thing of looking at each exhibit, taking his time to get to the point.
Mm-hmm. With that, oh god.
Out of curiosity, because Kess is nosy, what is the state of the museum in general?
It's pretty well
Cleanliness, how well
kept.
is it built, etc.
Oh, it's
Okay.
very well kept. Very well kept. It's very clean. It's very artful, which reminds you that this is within the domain of the Toreador.
Oh yeah.
It's at this point I would like to ask: are you guys doing anything to disguise yourselves, or stay out of the notice of people who might be watching?
Cass would have likely tried to do Blush of Life before
Okay.
entering.
Just gonna point
Before
a
they
blood.
left, like the chantry. Yeah.
Is everyone able to just do that with a point of blood?
Just a point of blood to activate Blush of Life, which makes you appear human. But you
Yep.
still can't eat or do any of those things.
Jordy's a rule follower. He'll absolutely do that. Yeah.
Alright. With that, you continue forth and eventually you lead into the area that opens off into the 3 different wings. And you can see each of the exhibitions have a sign next to them, next to the wing that they are in. So, which wing would you like to step into?
The Dacian one. Dacian.
Alright, the Kings of the Carpathians. The Dacian Legacy. You step inside. At this point, I would like a Perception Alertness, difficulty 6 from both of you.
Four successes.
Alright. Both of you
Three.
do notice that there are a number of what looks to be guards that are present, which is not unexpected. But you also just notice a couple of probably more fashionably dressed people than you would expect for a museum. A number of them wearing what look to be small rose pins on their shirts. You would recognize this as the symbol that the Toreador uses to mark what they own, to mark their property. You think it's highly likely that some of these people might either be blood dolls or ghouls.
Do any of them look recognizable from Elysium?
I'd say there'd probably be a couple that you've seen in the company of the Toreador during the Elysium. They seem to be like they're on the lookout. Like they're keeping an eye out for things. Perhaps an extra touch of security.
With that, Jordy will simply kind of exchange a look to Kess and say, property of the Toreador.
This entire place is property of the Toreadors.
True.
If we don't
That-
mind them, they won't mind us most of the time.
Most of the time. With that,
Have you given
Kess
them a
will-
reason to? Sorry.
Yeah. With that, Jordy will continue forward.
Tess will follow.
With that, you step into the exhibition. The Darcian exhibit lies nestled between tall glass doors, etched with wolf heads and mountain peaks. The lighting is dim, except for bright white spotlights illuminating what looks to be a number of relics on deep red cloth. There are murals depicting horned helmets, fire dancers, and temples lost to time. The air is still, cold from the preservation units humming low beneath the floors. You see a placard that reads, "Though ultimately conquered by Rome, the Dacians of the Carpathian Mountains practice forgotten rites in stone temples. Their warriors, priests, and rulers hones the spirit of blood, earth, and sky. And perhaps something more." With that, you see a number of artifacts that lie around these tables inside these glass cabinets. One of which looks to be a rusted bronze weapon. One looks to be an obsidian pendant with red veining. There looks to be some sort of blackened bowl with what looks to be small skulls that encircle it. You see what looks to be a half-melted bronze mirror. And last, you see what looks to be a darkened urn.
One of the weirder vampire questions I've asked. Do any of them give a magic or blood magic-y vibe? I don't know how to...
Make an intelligence call. Difficulty 7.
Okay.
If you got aspects, you might be able to do a little sensey.
I do have aspects. Does that lower difficulty for me or no?
Not in this case, but it would have for your perception roll. So do remember for next time. Any perception rolls.
Well,
you
I
can
mean,
lower
I
up your
had
aspects.
I had 4 successes.
You got
so
enough
it's fine.
successes. It wasn't an issue.
I'm
What
good at,
difficulty
like, 2
mark?
whole things.
A difficulty
7.
7.
3 successes.
3 successes. All right.
And 2 for me.
As you are looking around, almost every item here has this faint feeling to it. Like there is some kind of arcane purpose to them. All of these seem to have some sort of magical residue, at least from what you can sense through the glass. As you look upon the bronze weapon, you see there are spirals that have been carved into it, that you recognize to not actually be spirals, but arcane runes. Those that are consistent with ones that you have seen and have been used in blood sorcery. Yes, that is the only one that has any runes to speak of.
Which item out of the list had
bronze
the
weapon.
runes?
The rusted bronze
Bronze
weapon. How many successes did you guys get?
3 and 2.
Alright. Cass, you can tell that the runes on the weapon look to be the thaumaturgical symbol for fire.
Yay. Okay. He's gonna lean to Jordy. Well, this has succeeded in not clarifying anything at all.
None of these look like a seed to me.
No.
Remind me, how were we? Was it two-way communication with Hasib that we had?
No, it is
Nope,
only
one way.
Hasib contacting us.
Wait, no, you
I
can
call him.
You
You
can
can call
call
Hasib.
him.
Yeah, I can call Hasib.
I would say,
I mean,
Hasib, you can
technically-
see all of these from your position. You just can't see the details.
Right.
You can see the
I'm
general.
assuming the cameras aren't. Yeah, the general view of the rooms. Yeah, Hasib's there. He has the phone. He's like dragged the phone or a phone because I don't think he has a cell phone himself. He's dragged like a home phone through the wires going through the door.
Is there a no telephones? I know some museums, if they have like if they're stricter, they don't allow
Yeah,
cell
there would
phones.
be like a picture of like a phone with a
fantastic.
cross through it.
Y-
There's also
yeah,
one for
yay.
smoking as well.
Oh yay! Kes has turned his phone onto silent or onto vibrate.
Mm-hmm.
Just generally. But
Jordy's going to read all the plaques that are with each of the items just to see if there's anything else that sort of might call a hint one way or the other.
Kes will start from the other side, and then that way we both read half of them and convene.
First question: do either of you have aura perception
Do I have aura perception? That's a very good question.
or specs 2?
2 dots.
Aspects too.
Yep.
No.
Okay. The first thing that you come across, Jody, is called the Falx of Samenjitetsu. It is the bronze weapon. Let me post that in the chat. And there is a label underneath it that says, ceremonial flax from a warrior's grave, used in high rituals or elite combat. It looks to be a large, two-handed curved blade, pitted and rust-stained, resting in the glass case. Spiral etchings are near the hilt.
Noted.
And from your previous occult roll, you can see that this is certainly something that is used in some sort of perhaps ancient blood sorcery. It would also probably, like, the dating next to it would probably be like 10 BC, circa 10 BC. For Cass, you find the urn that has a label. It says the root cracked urn, and it says it is a large ceramic urn with fine root-like cracks climbing up its side. The clay is discolored by what looks to be heat damage. The label next to it says ceremonial funerary urn found in the Ostane Mountains. Charred remains and fossilized fragments suggest some sort of forest rite.
Sorry, can you repeat the last two words you said?
Forest rites.
Okay.
Then we go back to Geordie. Geordie, you find the obsidian pendant. You see it is about palm-sized. It is a black pendant with what looks to be blood-red lines that shimmer faintly in the low light of the museum. It says, Wardstone found on the chest of a female Dacian noble, believed to repel death spirits. You can tell that this is certainly a pendant that predates the Roman contact.
Noted.
There is also something about this that is uniquely magical. You feel almost this like slight pull of your blood towards it. It's an odd feeling. To Kess, you find the polished half mirror, that polished half melted bronze mirror, with what looks to be one clean side and one warp side. And it says specifically, used by priestesses for lunar visions and weather augury.
As we'll circle back to Jordy. So I have an urn from the mountains and a mirror used for visions.
He's Jordy's still standing at the obsidian pendant, I think. That was the one that pulled at him, right? Like
Yes.
Pulled at it. He'll kind of snaps out of it. Oh. Do you feel that?
Do I feel that?
So you look towards the pendant. With your not auspice roll, your occult roll. Yes.
Well, I suppose that answers that. It's what I was hoping would happen.
The weapon was most certainly used for blood sorcery.
I have a feeling all of it was. So this was the easy part. We'll have to go back and regroup.
Right.
At this point,
How did
both of you realize that there is now a figure that is standing next to you, specifically standing next to Kess.
I will turn and look.
It is a figure you don't recognize. We see a man of short dark hair and steely blue eyes. And he'd be looking at the at these displays, as he would say. What brings the Tremere all the way to a museum on ancient Carpathian history?
To whom am I speaking
You-
first? Hess
don't
puts
need
out
to-
his hand.
You don't need to know my
Then
name.
Then you don't need to know my business.
But I think I do. Anything the Tremere are doing is generally bad news. Especially
Well,
when
if you'd
they're
like to be
desperate.
deeply disappointed, I'm a patron of the museum.
Are you now?
You can check their ledgers, I am.
Well,
Are we
then,
done here?
maybe the structure won't collapse on you like the pyramid.
Say your name.
You are?
I am someone who is well aware of what our blood can do. But I also know what it's like to be lied to, like the both of you. To be convinced in the pyramid so wholeheartedly, only to watch it crumble before your eyes. It just so happens I had that realization earlier.
Your name, sir.
He turns to look at you. And as he does, you see what looks to be a burned brand on his forehead. The mark of the Tremere anti-tribute. The bloodline that does not exist, or should not exist. That was wiped out a couple years ago. Yet stands before you clear as day.
Jordy takes a step back.
It's at which point we cut away to a different scene. We return to uh, the two other members of Clan Tremere that are off on separate business. Dr. Quangle and, of course, Maruna, as they begin to make their way over to what I believe was an agreed upon spot for dinner between Dr. Quangle and his estranged wife.
You can refer to her as my wife. Estranged provides a lot of context that other people don't need. We are lawfully wed, just going through a rough patch.
Nonetheless, for the moment, it is Dr. Quangle and Maruna sitting in the back of what is a luxury car service, waiting to eventually arrive at the scene that they are heading to. With that, is there any conversations that happen while you two are in the back of the car?
I suppose when we arrive, you should leave first, perhaps, or should I?
I'm going to ask the driver to stop about a block away from the location, at which point you will exit the car and then I will go to the location.
All right.
Then you will follow behind, so you arrive after me.
I understand. And I'll just stay within eyesight, I suppose.
Yes, I would ask that you take location in the restaurant where you have the door and myself in view. Just in case anyone comes through the door, I will be focused on the conversation happening, and I don't want to leave anything to chance.
What should I do if something happens?
I trust your discernment and your judgment, Maruna. He looks at her. He's having this conversation. He's not looking at her. He's looking straight ahead. And when he says that, he looks at her. I trust your discernment and your judgment.
All right.
I sense that there is a question within you. Ask away. Mark, I assume the driver can't hear us, or can the driver hear us?
We'll say there's like a panel between you and the driver, and you ask for it to go up. So the driver cannot hear you.
I'm sure everything will go perfectly fine, but just in case, maybe is the best way for me to signal to you without interrupting, or I don't know if we should have a plan, something like that.
If things begin to go in the surgical world, we refer to this as pear-shaped. Then I'm going to need you. Then come to the table and introduce yourself and say you have to go. We'll ensure that this is my last meeting with this woman. There wouldn't be a better way to end it.
All right. So I introduce myself to you and your wife.
And my thought process is that I in this situation I would know you, and this is a bad idea. Don't do that. No, I'm off my game.
No, that's all right. I understand this is a stressful situation. That's why I thought it'd be good to talk about it now.
If things are going bad or something happens, well, let's define bad. If things are mundane with going bad, some yelling happening, accusations and whatnot, don't engage. In the event that something supernatural happens, which we are familiar with, then, well, you will maintain the laws of the Camarilla and do what you think is best. A good signal to me. mm,
Oh, I know. So sometimes, when I have when I see things, this thing happens. And you're a doctor.
what thing do you mean?
Uh, well, last time I had a vision, I woke up on the floor of Doherty's office.
Dear Maruna, you shouldn't be able to medically. You shouldn't. Okay, go forward with that plan. We'll discuss the nature of your medical predicament once we return to the chantry. And I'll be having a well, no, I won't be having a discussion with Jordy. You
I
have a
think he was.
doctor on the staff. Like this is the thing you bring a doctor in for things like this. But no matter.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, I will have a medical emergency if there is an emergency, and you, as a doctor, will be obliged to help, even if it is someone you don't know.
Yes. Position yourself closer to me than you are to my my wife. Does that make sense?
I'll position myself so I can, so that she
That there's
can't
an
see
easier
me.
route. Yes, so she can't see you, and that there's an easier route to me to provide you aid if you have a seizure. And I don't want to be going around too many tables.
All right. Sounds like we have a plan.
Yes. And I believe this is your stop. Driver, stop. Oh, he can't hear me. He not, Quingo knocks
You
on
knock
the
on the
window.
glass. Yeah. It comes down. You tell them to stop. The vehicle stops.
One of our guests will be leaving.
All right, boss.
And Marina will get out of the car and kind of wait for the car to drive away so that she can follow after.
All right. With that, the car begins to pull off farther down the road before eventually arriving outside the restaurant.
Before I go in, can I use a point of blood for a blush of life?
Of course.
Yay. Now we're all blushing.
With that, you find yourself standing outside the restaurant. You see patrons are inside, dining.
Do I see her through the window?
You do. Sitting behind one of the tables that is made for two.
Good, she's not with another man or other individual. This is Quingo thinking to himself. All right. Well, yes, Dr. Quengle will walk in and go to the host.
Can I help you, sir?
Yes, I'm here to meet someone. And they should have a reservation under the name Spellman Quengle. or potentially Spellman, or
Spellman Quango. Here we go. Reservation for you. Your dining partner has already arrived. I shall
a
take you to your
question for
table.
you.
Oh yes.
Before you take me there, what specifically was the reservation's name?
Oh, it's
When you look,
Spellman Quangle.
oh, good. Yes, take me to the table. Yes.
Of course, sir. Close the reservation book and lead you over. As you make your way over, you can see her kind of leaning against the table, off to the side. Before suddenly she sees you coming over, and a warm smile appears on her face as she stands.
The doctor will approach. Um, he won't get too close, but he'll say, "It's been a while."
Quentin, it's good to see that you're doing well.
Thank you. It's well, I see that you're doing well also. Does she look healthy? Does she look like she hasn't been eating or
Make a perception, uh, perception medicine. You can use your Auspex if you have it to lower the difficulty. It would be difficulty 7, but you can lower it.
I don't have Auspex, but I do have good medicines. Right. 7. I'm a doctor. P and M. Hey, okay. Sick.
Before I answer this, how much? What percentage of your blood pool is currently filled?
Okay. Let's see. I'm clicking through different pages to get to that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 90%.
90%? Wow. Alright. She has a healthy glow to her. From what you can tell, she seems to be doing well. She doesn't seem to be ill or sick or any of the signs that you would give of someone who is not well. She seems to live a healthy lifestyle. With that, I think probably a description of dear Epona Spellman Quangle. A woman of dark skin, red, kind of slightly messy hair that's tied back in, we'll say a ponytail. I don't know if you ever decided whether or not she has glasses, so would she have glasses?
Yes. Let's say she has glasses so she doesn't wear them, so maybe she's occasionally squinting.
Okay. So she kind of looks over you and goes, "Oh, I'm glad to see that time seems to have treated you well."
Yes. Time appears to heal all wounds. Some faster than others, I suppose.
I see. Shall we?
Yes, yes. What is the special for the night? Have the waiters come by yet?
Not yet. But I'm sure they'll be by soon. At which point one of the waiters comes over and goes to take your orders. I imagine this is a probably very upscale, fancy restaurant. But is there any specific foods that Quangle finds himself ordering? Is he a steak man? Salad man?
I would say he's a salad guy, and he's going to be ordering fish. He obviously hasn't eaten in a while, so he's going to order the fish. He's going to get some calamari. He's just gonna go through the entire like appetizer, soup, salad. He's ordering a lot of stuff. Like he's
No.
going through everything.
Wow. I don't remember you having such a big appetite. I hope you don't take offense to that. I didn't mean it in that way. Just, it's good.
No offense taken. I've been working a lot lately, so I don't really get the chance to go out and do these things. I probably haven't been to a restaurant like this since, well, since you left.
Quite some time, hasn't it? Have you been keeping busy? How's your work been?
I'm in private practice, new clients, same stresses. But, well, you know me, I'm married to the job.
Of course. Well, I've been keeping busy as well. Been traveling, seeing the world. I think it's been helpful. But I've returned as I was asked to help out with the one of the museum's recent exhibitions.
Oh, really? The museum? We have a decent museum. What exhibition? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh, it's no problem at all. I've been helping out with well, the one for uh, the Haitian exhibition. Did think a bit odd when they asked me to do so, as I'm not Haitian, but it's been interesting helping out. I've been more taking part in the one involved with the Dacian exhibition on this. Essentially, it's this pre-Roman culture that existed in the Carpathians. It's quite been fascinating. Well, time really, dealing with a lot of ancient artifacts, and I got to actually spend some time in the Carpathians, and it's a fascinating place. If you ever get time to travel, I do recommend it.
Thank you. How interesting. What do they have there? You said you were primarily working with the Haitian exhibition and then a bit on the side with the Dacian?
Mostly the Dacian with helping out with the Haitian exhibition. I
How
Yeah, it's been interesting. A lot of interesting things to do with the ancient Dacians, and also learning more about the well, Haitian practices of voodoo and the like.
yes, yes. How interesting. You know, my family, the Quangles, we were from New Orleans. Huh. Should I give my grandmother a call and ask her if she knows anything about voodoo?
I mean, who knows? She might just. She was always
Yes, yeah.
a witty woman.
Yes, quite so, quite so. Well, I am not a man who beats around the bush. Why have you reached out to me?
Well, I thought, well, I hadn't seen you in such a long time, and I don't know, I just wanted to see how you were doing.
Like a Quangle like pauses. He's at a loss, not at a loss, but he's just processing. Yes. Well, I'm doing all right, I suppose, given the circumstances. Uh, have you been managing our loss well?
What I
Rhiannon's
can.
loss.
I went by the grave today. Do you find yourself ever going by?
On her birthday, I visit.
Yes. Not really sure what I'm supposed to do there, but I just kind of sit and think.
Yes, I generally leave flowers, a new toy. The toy from the year before is missing. More than likely, one of the neighborhood kids taken it. But yes,
Ah, I see.
you know, I've been sentimental.
At which point, Maruna, you step your way into the restaurant, and you find yourself one of the hosts stepping forward and goes, "Hello, ma'am. Do you have a reservation?"
Hello. I don't, do you have anything open, a seat, at the bar even? It would be fine, whatever you have.
Let me have a
If you have
look.
a table, even better.
Why don't you roll me a d10 and tell me high or low before you roll?
Okay. Let's see. Let's go for high. 8.
8. Oh, it just so happens we have a table available.
Oh, excellent. Thank you so much.
This way. I see would lead you in. Quangle, you would clock as you see Maruna enter into the restaurant, and then takes up a seat that seems to actually be near the window.
So, you mentioned the Dacian exhibit in your time in the Carpathians. Can you tell me more about it?
Of course, it was a collection of artifacts originally kept by a private collector. However, they had some sort of change of heart, I suppose. Wanted the public to be able to see them. They've only been on display for about a month or two. Supposedly, they were recovered back in the 70s, with some actually being found much earlier. I believe after World War II was where some was uncovered after some of the bombings.
Unfortunate. Unfortunate, that is. Yes, very.
Unfortunately, most things were destroyed, but from what we were able to recover, they were quite interesting finds.
Ah. Nice, nice. You seem to have found a career path that you take pleasure in. I'm happy for you.
Thank you. But what have you? Sure, you've been up to something more than just your work. You like, perhaps you've taken up a hobby of some sort.
I don't have much time for hobbies these days. When you left me, I was well, I was not myself. I had hit rock bottom. So the work is what saved me. Work is what brought me back, so to
I
speak.
see. I do remember the but yes. Well, glad to see that you haven't let it get you down.
Yes, well, you. I have a great therapist. You know, so
I see. That is good to hear.
Yes. I would recommend it sometime. Therapy is, good for the soul, the mind, the flesh.
Hmm, indeed. At this point, food is brought to your table.
Quengle will do his best to eat, but not like really fall upon the food like a wild animal, because he hasn't eaten in a while. Like it's just blood, but like this is an actual meal. Please, Mark, tell me if it tastes like ash or anything horrible, or does it really taste like real food?
Use Domino of Life. This tastes like real food.
Yes.
For the first time in ages. And it's good.
Yeah.
It's not as good as the lifeblood, but it's a forgotten sensation.
I think Quengle will steer the conversation towards the food and very much so like more mundane things than getting into the museum. You left me alone by myself. That stuff. Getting more into like, hey, the food tastes well, the salad, the soup, while he's eating.
I think as she watches you pick up your knife and fork and begin to eat, she stops for a moment. Your hands.
Yes.
I uh, uh, I thought. Never mind. I guess it's not important, but I thought they were damaged in the accident.
They were. I saw a specialist.
Specialist. What did they do?
Yes. Well, quite a bit of surgery, quite a bit of rehab. I am not 100% who I was, but they are, for the most part, functional, eating, things like that. Um, it does make my profession quite hard. I do mostly consultations, but that's life. You deal with the ups and downs.
Manipulation and subterfuge, difficulty 8.
Should have just said, "Oh, I'm a vampire now. The salad is great."
Second, how much willpower? Okay, I can fix this fine. Huh.
Wow. Jesus Christ. Uh,
Who did you sell
7
your soul
successes on
to?
8 dice.
I,
Seven
yeah,
dice.
man. I'm very lucky. Bob can attest to this. This is what I have.
He kind of looked at you for a moment and then just kind of like nods, like actually kind of interested in like the process itself. Wow, that's honestly fantastic to hear because I remember what the doctor said, but I'm glad it wasn't the case.
It's it's hard, you know, dealing with that and going through such an event, losing my hands. You know, I believed for a long time that all I was my hand, but with therapy and some fortitude, I was able to see beyond just the hands that could perform the surgeries, looking into the mind, academic study. I was always well read, shrewd, if you will, but I do a lot more reading these days, if I'm being honest. But I am fortunate to have the use of my hands back, even in this limited capacity.
I'm glad to hear it. There's a soft smile that appears on her features.
How long are you in town for?
For the month.
Yes. Well. Anything interesting planned this week?
Well, I do have one of the uh, lectures that I'll be giving on the Dacian exhibition. In fact, that'll be happening this week, this upcoming. Shit, what day was it?
Thursday?
Thursday. This upcoming Thursday. You should come by, if you have the time, of course.
I will make the time. Epona, for you, I will make the time.
She smiles. And I'm assuming you put your hands down, that you're not eating while you're saying this. So she would reach over
Yes,
the
yes.
table and place her hand on yours. I'm glad to hear it. At this point, we're going to cut over to Maruna, who's sitting at the table watching. That you find yourself looking between that and pretending to look at the menu.
Mhm.
And as you look up, you realize you're not alone at the table. Sitting across from you is your sire, Silas Anderson. You don't have time for this, Maruna. There are things that need to be done. Time is running out.
I know, but I. You said I had to get everyone to listen. I had to get. Part of that is being there for them.
I understand you're just trying to do right by these people. But this is about more than just individuals. The whole
know.
must be looked towards. You cannot allow this dangerous self-indulgence. There is a reason the Masquerade exists.
What would you have me do?
Look at her. Really look at her and then remember where you've seen her before.
She'll turn to look
As you
more.
look around, suddenly there is no one else in the restaurant except you, Silas, Dr. Quangle, and his wife, Epona. As you look towards her, you blink for a few moments before eventually you see it. Sitting at the table with all the individuals, all of your allies, with the red string that connects you and the red string that goes back to a figure that holds it. And you remember the one that stood behind Dr. Quangle. And you see the figure of Epona holding the string that is tight around her neck as tears fall down her face. You also see from the shadows a smaller hand holding the red string. and you hear, "It will hold him back. It could undo everything."
All right.
Maruna, you have a duty here. A duty to everyone, a duty to the world. Never forget that. Maruna. Maruna. Madame? Madame, are you
Sorry.
ready to order?
Uh, yes. I'll have and she'll just like look at the menu and just the first thing that she puts her finger down on.
He looks up and it goes,
Oh.
the the tomahawk steak.
Actually, she's gonna just scan for something a little less expensive.
Ah, the Caesar salad, of course.
Yes, that'd be perfect. Thank you.
Should you need any drinks, let me know.
I will. Thanks.
That he steps off, and you are returned back to the scene. Make a perception and alertness, difficulty 8. As you are there in the moment, everything kind of feels a bit too bright and a bit too loud as you're kind of readjusting to the world around you.
Mhm.
And then you see out of the corner of your eye, outside on the street, a figure in a black dress with a veil that covers her face. And you see just peeking out from underneath a smile. But as you go to look what you saw in the corner of your eye, you see nothing but the empty street. With that, we return back to Quangle.
When she touches my hand, is her hand cold or is it
No,
warm?
it's warm. It's full of life.
But my hand is cold because I'm obviously not full of life.
Oh yeah, but you have blush of life, so there is a slight warmth.
Okay.
It's probably not as if someone is really paying attention, they could be able to tell. But
Mhm.
to the average feeling, you feel alive. Maybe a little colder, but there is a flowing of lifeblood through you.
Neat. Well, I will be sure to come to your exhibit on Thursday and listen to your lecture. Since you'll be here for a month, I'm sure we could arrange other excursions such as this. It's good to see you.
I would love that very much.
Yes, well, I have to say, I do miss this going to restaurants conversation. you.
I've missed it too. I'm just glad you agreed to come see me. I've enjoyed this a lot.
Yes, as am I. My therapist recommends confronting the hard things.
Your therapist sounds like a very wise person.
Yes.
At which point, Maruna, you hear the sound as the door opens. And a figure steps in. What looks to be a large, bearded, portly-looking gentleman in a very nice suit steps into the restaurant. As he does, you see the maitre d' come over and go, "Ah, sir, can I..." And before he can finish his sentence, the man simply looks to him and says, "I'm coming through. Just stay out of my way." And you watch as the maitre d' just nods and steps off to the side. As the figure steps further in, you watch as he begins to make his way through the patrons and in the direction of Dr. Quangle's table.
Myrna's gonna kind of get ready to stand and move quickly if she
Okay.
needs to. Does he appear to be looking at Dr. Quangle? Or
Yes.
at Epona?
His
Yeah?
eyes are on
Okay.
Quangle.
Okay. Yeah. She's gonna just keep eyes on them for now. Kind of stand like she's maybe gonna go use the restroom.
Alright.
Would be like the staging of it.
Eventually, Quangle, you're kind of locked in this moment before it's suddenly broken as you feel a hand on your shoulder. These large, G-looking fingers. As you hear a familiar voice to you. "Ah, Dr. Quangle! I thought that was you!" As you look up to see Maximilian Walton, one of your creditors.
Ah, Maximilian, how are you? You're looking well and in good health.
Oh, why, thank you, Dr. Quangle. It is good to see that you are doing well too. And who is this fine young lady here?
Oh, Maximilian, this is an old friend. Nothing to do with our business.
Is that so? Well, this is a pleasure to meet you. Any friend of Dr. Quangle's is a friend of mine. You see, Epona looks a little hurt by your words. But she just kind of nods and says, "And it's a pleasure to meet you as well, Mr. Walton." Yes. Quentin, my old boy, do you mind if we spoke for a moment?
By all means. Quangle nods over to Epona. I'll be a second, and then I'll speak more later. Lead the way.
With that, he
He stands up.
steps out into the back area.
Marina is gonna follow.
Alright.
at a distance.
With that, Quentin, you find yourself following after him, entering into what is like a back area where perhaps some of the waiters and staff would hang out. But it is just you and him as he turns to you, and you find yourself facing down Maximilian Walton, old money industrialist, runner of the city's financial world, and a man with deep influential ties. You also know him as the primogen of the Ventru clan. He was one of the individuals that first ended up reaching out to you, and was the one to set up your communication with the Tremere. He is a man who, whether or not you feel so, believes you owe him dearly.
I would assume this isn't a personal call and you have something to ask of me.
Oh, come now, Quentin. I always enjoy reaching out to those that I think are the, part of the movers and shakers of the city.
You believe me to be a part of the movement and shakers. That brings a smile to my face.
Well, of course. To be honest, I prefer you far more than that whelpsome whip that the Tremere have throwing around at this point, but nonetheless, it is in fact true that I do have ask of you if you would be so willing.
Well, all you have to do is ask, and I'll see what I can do.
I want you to look into someone. An individual that's shown up in the our courts, if you will, as he kind of looks around to make sure no one's looking in. At this point, Maruna, would you like to attempt a stealth check if you're attempting to listen in?
Yes, and also, do I recognize him?
Intelligence politics. Yeah, I'll do that first, just because Yeah.
it could influence how I handle this. Difficulty 6, did you say?
This will be difficulty 7 in your case.
Okay.
He is a prolific figure. Yes, you indeed recognize him as the Ventru Primogen.
Cool. Cool. And, not on great terms with the Ventru. Would I have ever interacted with him specifically, or probably not him specifically?
No, but you have heard that he has, at one point of a time, called for your head, though the Tremere convinced him to look otherwise. You can tell he is certainly not going to be happy with you if you meet him again.
Yeah.
Or if you meet him
Cool.
in general.
Yeah.
There's also a question on whether or
Um,
not he'd actually be able to recognize you by face.
Yep. Good question. Cool. We're gonna stealth. Definitely make sure that I am not facing him.
Alright. Dexterity stealth.
Cool.
This will be difficulty...
I don't have any stealth, so let's
Just dexterity then.
just dexterity.
Dexterity, difficulty 6.
Okay. Just because this is important, I will use a willpower.
Alright.
And does that get applied automatically when you click willpower used?
Yes, it should. The roll applies as an auto success. There we go, 2 successes.
Okay. Cool.
You were able to listen and you've heard like the first part of it, the conversation. It then continues. There is a a vagabond, shall we say. So recently came into town. He has been surprisingly friendly with the court's upper levels. I want you to see what you can find out about it.
No worries. All you have to do is give me a name, and I will handle it.
Oh, splendid. Absolutely splendid. Find his name. They call him Duke. What I understand, he is of the wanderer variety. Of the clan of vagabonds, the what do they call them? That's right. The Ravnos.
Duke of the Ravnos. All right. We do have an Elysium coming up. I'll work the crowd a little bit.
Wonderful, wonderful. Do let me know what you find.
No worries, no worries. Well, where would you want me to contact you with this information? You always seem to find me, but I can't find you these days.
Oh, I generally am found when I want to be found, but perhaps after Elysium is over, I might stay around for a little longer. Perhaps we'll speak then.
Understood.
Well, it's been good talking, my old friend. I'm sure we'll have plenty of opportunities later on.
Yes. No worries. I do have to get back into my friend in there.
Of course, of course. Do tell your wife I say hello. As he taps you on the shoulder with his large pudgy fingers. As he does, there is certainly an unnatural strength to him. Despite looking kind of rotund, he looks like he could certainly handle himself.
In Quangle fashion, well, if you knew, why'd you ask? He would say that. If you knew, why'd you ask? You know, now I've got to handle that. I think they have the type of relationship. He wouldn't banter per se, but he, you know,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
knows Quangle. He knows.
He just kind of laughs it off before he presses his suit down, where it seems sort of like ruffled a little, and goes, "Well, enjoy the rest of your night." See,
Thank you, and to yours.
turns around and begins to walk off, and by that time, Maruna, you've managed to return to your seat, seemingly without
I was
his
gonna say.
notice. There is a moment as he's walking by where he seems to stop, and then look in your direction. And then he continues his way out.
Well, when appropriate, Quangle will walk back in and salvage this.
Why don't you make me a charisma and expression roll? This will be difficulty 8.
Charisma. Expression. Modified. No.
Gotta call on some of that luck you had before, or did you use it all?
Dude, you just cursed me. Like, You can't acknowledge the luck before you make the roll. Oh, getting low. It's for love. Specialization. Wait. Okay, let me start over again. Charisma. Expression. Difficulty 8. No. This I'll use it. Okay. C and E. Submit. Ah.
3 successes. Okay. So she doesn't immediately leave. So the rest of the dinner carries on despite the hiccup in between. It's mostly very general conversation and, nothing more along that, but it seems like you didn't completely fumble this date, as it were.
I didn't quangle it.
You didn't quangle it. Uh, with that, eventually, as the different courses run their course, eventually, she goes, well then, I'm afraid it's getting a little late for me. But I'd like to continue these conversations sometime, if you're available.
I believe I will be available, and I'd like to do the same.
Wonderful. I generally have my afternoons free.
I'm with clients during most of the working day. I'm free mostly at night.
Oh, I see. I'd wonder when you make time to sleep, but knowing you, sleep simply whenever you can. Very well.
That much hasn't changed.
Yes. Oh, it was great seeing you.
Yes, it was great seeing you. Well, till next time.
She would stand up from the table and she would give you a hug.
Quangle does it. He didn't expect it, so there's a pause. Like, this is a man who hasn't been hugged in a long time. He will hug her back. Yeah, he'll hug her back.
That she kind of nods you and then begins to make her way out, taking her handbag with her.
I'm gonna check my pockets to make sure she didn't take anything from me.
Yeah, your pockets are fine. You haven't been robbed.
Okay. Good. What? Why is there surprise? I don't understand all the surprise. You don't.
What the hell?
It's your wife, and you're immediately like, did she steal from me?
She could be an enemy spy.
Oh my
Maximilian
god.
shows up while I'm at dinner. A spy. Trust no one. We are Tremere.
Nonetheless,
Yeah,
you
she's
finish up. Everything is paid for. As you informed that Mr. Walton has paid for your meal in advance. Or actually, no, he paid for your meal. No, yeah, he paid for your meal in advance.
When you say in advance, this is before we arrived. Like he just put it on his tab, or
Indeed, yes.
like he knew from the beginning. This is Quangle thinking to himself. How much more time do I have with the Domino of Life? I think this is all night, right? Until the next.
Yeah,
morning.
you have the rest of the night. This has been
I'll take a nice-
about 3 hours, so it's around like 10 p.m.
Okay, I'll take an ice cream to go.
Of course. An ice cream is made for you, and you are given it.
Awesome. Yep. Well, I go out and get to the car. I assume Maruna will make her way
Mhm.
back to the chantry on her own or something. We didn't agree
Oh, okay.
How Maruna's getting
You're
back.
just. I thought we're supposed to stay in pairs.
No. That was a joke. I'm sorry. I don't know how we're going to meet back up. So I'll have the car go around the
Yeah.
block a couple times. We'll figure it out.
She would kind of nod at you as you left and then wait and then go out a couple minutes later and wait for the car.
Yep. I'll
So,
make sure that we don't leave her. Yes.
so that seems like it went fairly well.
It did. It it did go well, Maruna, as well as can be expected, given the circumstances and what we are. But it went well.
What do you plan to do?
There are infinite possibilities. More importantly, before what do I plan to do? She's working at the museum, specifically with the Carpathian, the Dacian exhibit, the one that dear Jordy and Hess are at. So,
Oh,
yeah, she's giving the lecture on Thursday, which is rather convenient, I believe.
indeed.
Quite.
Quick question. Thinking about this is the second time that the museum has come up and the particular nature of the exhibits. Would they sound at all familiar to Maruna?
Probably not particularly.
Okay. All right. Just be careful.
Pringle looks over to Maruna. Why? What happened?
Remember when I said we all have ties that are holding us?
Yes, I remember.
I couldn't see it at first. For you, it was in the dark. But when I saw you with your wife, I think she's one of yours. As is your child. I think these things, they can manifest in different ways. Maybe it's
There's
not so much that she's holding you back as it is you have something that you haven't resolved, and that's holding you back.
To clarify, Maruna, to use exact terms, you saw my wife and maybe my child in your vision.
Yes.
Well, that complicates things. Also, in keeping with our no secrets policy, the individual who came by was Maximilian Wharton. Wharton, right? Was it Wharton, Mark?
Warden.
I
Hold on.
did.
It was
The
Walton. It might have been Walton. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Walton. Like Walt
the
Disney.
Ventru,
Mm.
the Ventru Primogen, right?
Yes. Nice man. Pudgy fingers. Very strong.
Yeah, I tried to stay out of sight. He doesn't particularly like me.
Well, that's because you make bad first impressions.
Sometimes that's true.
That I'm sorry, Maruna. I tried to make a joke, and unfortunately, at your expense.
It's all right. I have some stuff to talk to you about also. Like I said,
Uh,
secrets and all that.
yes, I understand.
I just want to
He
make sure
wants
we're
me-
somewhere private.
Oh, sorry. Yes, we'll speak more when we return to the chantry.
All right. I want to preface this with saying there are things that I that I need to tell you. And I've never tried. And I don't know. I don't know whether I will be able to. But I'm gonna try.
Okay. We will make the time to talk when we return to the chantry. Quangle will put his hand on Maruna's, like, he's in therapist mode, very focused. If you say something, I will listen, and we will get through this together.
Right. Thanks.
No problem. And then Quangle's going to eat the ice cream he brought with him.
Does it still taste good?
Oh, yes. Yes. Very much so. I should teach you this sometime. Make time for that. But yes, this is amazing.
Good.
Maruna, you feel this feeling rise in the back of your neck. He's calling, and you have to answer.
I have somewhere I have to go. Will you, would you come with me? And would you not ask too many questions until we get back to the chantry?
I'll ask you one question. Will
You
I
need to
need
go,
my
Maruna.
scalpel?
He's calling.
Well, what is it? What did you say?
Will I need my scalpel?
No, I don't think so.
You don't have time, Maruna.
I have
He's
to go. I have
calling.
to. She just starts running.
Okay. Quangle runs after her. She said he didn't need a scalpel. That's the only question.
Alright then. With that, we will cut away as Maruna has been summoned by the power of presence. With that, we return back to the museum, this time from the perspective of Seb. Seb, you're watching through the cameras, keeping an eye on things. You see people moving around. You see a number of the individuals with the red rose-like pins that have been going around, keeping an eye on things. However, you see that they have not seemed to have come in contact with your companions.
Perfect. And can I ask? So maybe there's like so many monitors that Hasib has set up that he has like a swivel chair, but he's asked for some assistance because he can't keep his eyes on all of them at one time. So he's asked Michael to come in here and look at the tiny boxes with pictures, moving pictures on them. I'm not sure how much he understands about computers and that, but he just told him to look out for anything, any scary looking people.
He kind of just stands there staring at the monitors. You don't know if he's actually being helpful or not, but he seems to think he is.
Yeah, Azib has thanked him profusely, and
You see as he like
Has there
taps one of
been-
the monitors with his large claw.
large claw just like can hear it every so often. Has Hasib seen through the cameras? Has he seen anything like suspicious, kind of like the intro call-in with Caligula?
Perception and technology.
Perception.
You can
and
lower this
techno-
by your Auspex if you would like to.
All right. Would his what's he has a merit for computers?
What does the merit do?
Think it's a computer aptitude. It lowers the difficulty by 2.
It would
for
indeed lower the
computer roles.
difficulty. So it would be difficulty 8. It is now difficulty 6, and you can lower it if you have Auspex even further.
Ah, perfect. What was the rolls again? Intelligence
The perception
And-
technology, actually.
or perception? Perception technology.
All right, ones don't count for this. Actually, hold on. Yes, one don't count for this. So you get a total of 5 successes. As you're kind of going around, flying through different monitors, having a look at the different areas, you do see there looks to be like a back room area where there looks to be like a number of large crates and boxes and things and papers and stuff all around. But you do also notice as you're looking back, one of the cameras that is like shows you the back of the lot. And you see what, weirdly enough, is an empty security booth where there is no security guard. Which perhaps wouldn't usually be odd, because most people would just think that this security guard's probably patrolling or something. That is until you notice the keys to the booth are inside and the door is slightly ajar.
Hasib tries to squints, getting closer and closer to the screen, but you know the resolution doesn't help. He's suspicious after the guard. He thought maybe the guard was on break or something, but hasn't come back for a long time. So he dials the number. Clearly, Hasib needs to let his companions know of a suspicious thing.
Alright, Cass, as you are staring down this man with the burned third eye on his forehead, your
Mhm.
phone begins to vibrate.
I don't think he answers it right away. I think he's a little preoccupied. You know what? He'll take it out of his pocket and he'll hand it to Jordy next to him.
Takes it. And he fumbles with using it, eventually figuring out how to open it and put it to his ear.
Cass, is that you? Hasib is whispering into the cell phone.
What is the man's reaction while the phone's at his ear?
He has no reaction. He's just looking towards the
Tess
both
is
of
still
you.
staring him down.
He seems to be staring at you both down in return.
Why don't we take
think-
this conversation? Sorry.
Yeah, Jordy remains silent. Sorry, while this is happening.
Mhm.
Why don't we take this somewhere that's not in the heart of Toreador territory? They've been kind to us so far.
No, actually, I like it here. It's insurance to know that you're not going to make a scene. Because if you do, I'll be forced to.
I really don't care why the clan doesn't like you. I feel there's been a misconception here. I just want to talk somewhere not surrounded by, and he gestures to the normal patrons.
As I said, I like it as a bit of insurance.
Let's at least go to the cafeteria then, so we're not just standing in the middle of this.
Make a... Are you attempting to, like, manipulate him, or are you just honestly trying to be
No,
like, no, this is a
Tess
better
is just
thing?
honestly trying to not do this standing in the middle of an exhibit because it feels like this is where we're gonna get in trouble because there's security everywhere. So like cafeteria where phones are allowed and there isn't security feels better.
Charisma expression.
Okay. Oh, this is
Also,
gonna be rough.
Jordy, could
Okay.
you make a manipulation and stealth?
What's my difficulty? Sorry.
Your difficulty is 7. And Jordy, your difficulty is standard, so 6.
What?
I don't think he was trying to be stealthy, so that makes sense.
Okay. Well, there's no botches, but it's only one success. So pretty much what you get, Jordy, is you see like someone in the corner of your eye. One of the security guards just go, "Hey," points to a sign that he taps, and it's the no phone sign.
I can't talk. Spellbinder. And then I'm going to hang up the phone.
Hasib on the other line, like, gives this weird look like he has no idea what that meant, and he's like trying to think back if that was a code word for something. He swivels in his chair. Michael, do you happen to know if a code word? How many code words do you know? Spellbinder. Is this? Do we need to go and help our friends at the museum? I don't know what that means. And he's probably just tapping the monitor.
Yeah. He's tapping the monitor and he turns and he goes, "Spellbinder." He shrugs. You can make an intelligence occult if you'd like. This will be difficulty 8.
All right. Oh, no good.
Oh.
Yeah, you have no idea. You have no idea. And Michael just kind of shrugs with his stony shoulders, sound of creaking stone as he does.
See, he bites his lip. I don't know. Maybe it's in one of the tomes in the library, but I can't leave here. You know, we have to watch the screens. I'll look for another opportunity to call them. Just keep watching, Michael. We're doing good.
Okay,
And he'll swivel
I will
back.
watch. You see him kind of like perch up like he would normally, like a stone gargoyle, except he's just staring at the monitors. With that, we cut back to the scene. With that, he looks at you and goes, "Fine. But I don't suggest you make any sudden moves. Else things are gonna get real messy real quickly."
I again stress to you how little I care. And Tess will
should.
start walking.
And with that, he kind of gestures over, and you see like there's some people that are wearing like hoods that are like heavy over their faces. And he gestures towards them, and then they begin to follow.
Oh yeah.
Make
Just feel
a
great.
perception alertness. Both of you can make this. This is a difficulty 8.
Yeah, I don't remember hooded men a minute ago. Is this new to us, or were they here? the
Yeah,
whole
that's
time?
new to us.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, they're like wearing like hoodies, basically, that like are low over their faces.
Does Auspex apply to this?
Yes, it would.
Okay.
I think it's more like something you just kind of begin to realize sticks out. Because normally it's not surprising to see people in hoodies, but it is once like he gestures to them and you see they seem to be in cahoots.
What was the difficulty you said?
Difficulty 8. And you can lower it if you have all specs. Wow. Botches
Yeah.
are coming out tonight.
We are
Well,
the worst.
3 dice. He doesn't have alertness. That's something Jordy does not possess.
Yeah. Jordy. Alright, you didn't use all specs. Cass did use all specs.
Did use what?
Cass, you used your all specs on this roll, right?
Yes, it did.
Okay, so the botch does count.
Yeah, so I got 0 successes total.
0 successes.
'Cause I got 1 success and then 1 botch.
It's
So I'm not a full botch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just a failure.
Alright then. You follow him as these hooded figures also seem to follow around. Eventually you make your way to the cafeteria area where he takes a seat at one of the tables. Kind of I think he probably like drags a chair over in front of one of the tables, and there's a loud noise as he does.
You really have no desire to be inconspicuous, do you?
If I might be frank, I don't care.
Mm-hmm. All right. Why are you here?
I think the same reason you are. That's why I want to know what you're doing here.
I'm a patron and have been for some time. I'm an investor. We
Now,
are
don't
allowed to make
pretend like-
investments, you know.
Don't pretend like that's the reason you and your clanmate are here. Last time I checked, the Tremere don't exactly do night trips.
Mark, can I make... I'm trying to figure out just how modern this guy appears.
Okay.
Or just how traditional this guy is.
Make a...
Can I propose some sort of empathy or something of the sort? Like I'm trying to mannerisms, gestures, things that would be more archaic specifically. Or is this someone that fits in quite nicely to the modern world?
Perception empathy. I think that works. Perception empathy, this will be difficulty 7. Okay.
3 successes.
From what you can tell, this seems to be a guy that knows how to blend in. The clothes he's wearing is relatively modern. He doesn't particularly stick out as someone not of this time. But he does also seem a little bit behind the times. You know, he doesn't seem to have a modern cellular phone. Some of his clothes look a little older, like he's had them for a while. And overall, his demeanor is someone who is of our older stature than to the modern age. So, perhaps a little older than you. but certainly not as old as someone, say, like your sire. So if you had to guess, pre-85.
Since Kess has more or less adopted the conveyor here, I think Jordy's just going to let it play out. It gives him one step away from the situation, allows him to be an outside observer.
So why don't you tell me what you're really doing here?
So I'm supposed to spill to you exactly the reason we're here and all of our information, but you won't give me a name of your compatriots, or the reason you're here. Doesn't exactly seem fair.
Fine then. I'll give you a name. Bernard. And the reason I'm here is because of... Hold on. Wait. Is because of the Iscariot.
Do I know what Iscariot means?
You're Christian, so yes.
Emily doesn't know what it means.
Oh, okay.
Emily's really bad. I'm sorry. Can you message?
I'll just say the Iscariot is
Okay.
a name often given to Judas. It means the
Okay.
betrayer. I think that's right, at least. Yeah, it's generally given
Iscariot.
as like the last name of Judas. It
Okay.
literally just means the betrayer. Or a person who betrays a friend.
You're here about Iscariot.
I'm here for the Iscariot.
Is that in the religion section? Shouldn't you be at a church?
No, I come here on its behalf.
To do what exactly?
You've asked me a lot of questions, but you haven't answered many yourself.
My name is Cass. I come here on behalf of both myself and the chantry. I've now given the exact amount of information you've given me. I don't do one-sided transactions.
Have you been educated about the Sabbat?
A bit.
Then you'd know
And you?
that we generally don't deal with those of your kind, especially those of my particular distinction.
You're supposed
So
to be
why?
gone. They dealt with you. All of you.
That's sure what they told you, isn't it? Wouldn't be the first time the pyramid has lied, though. In fact, our whole existence is a lie, from beginning to end. And that's why it's all crumbling down around us.
I'm having a little trouble understanding if you don't normally deal with specifically our clan, but generally with any of our kind. why you chose now.
Because I didn't expect you to be here. And yet you are. And now I really need to know why. I think it's probably best you tell me before things get problematic for you and your... I would say friends, but that's not true. Let's say things get a little bit more complicated for you politically.
We had an interest in one of the exhibits. I shouldn't have to tell you that we have a long and storied history.
You're looking for it, aren't you?
You'll have to be more specific.
The seed.
And what would you want with a seed?
It's not what I want. It's what the Iscariot wants. The
And what would
Iscariot
the
On that
Iscariot?
note, just to break in here, because I've been trying to wait for a sec here.
Sorry.
I rolled. No, it's fine. I'm just not getting much moment here. Can I? I wanted to make a test to see if I've ever heard the name Iscariot in a cult.
Intelligence or Gold? That is,
From clan lore specifically.
Oh, from clan lore?
That's
It's going to be intelligence occult. This is going to be difficulty 9.
9. Yeah. So 1 success.
Okay. 1 success. No, you probably would not have heard anything. The only thing you know is that the Iscariot is the name often attributed to Judas, the betrayer. Any particular things, you don't think it's related to House Tremere and Clan Tremere in any way. Though there is a possibility that pops up in your mind, as there is a famous member of House Tremere that was a traitor. It's possible this could do with Goratrix.
Yeah, okay. Do I know, I guess, out of character, I know who Goratrix is. Do I know, have I even heard the name in character, I guess? is kinda what I was
With
trying
that
to
roll, yes. You would have heard of Goratrix. In fact, the bloodline of the anti-tribute are known as House Goratrix. And they were supposedly wiped out.
You mean Goratrix is alive?
You can choose to believe so if you want.
I wouldn't believe it normally, but you're here, aren't you? This is what, your pack? Whatever you Sabbat call yourselves?
Not in my case, no. I'm but a servant to it. How is Regent Carr, by the way?
You're not particularly forthcoming about your master, mistress, or your people, or why you're here, so...
That is because it is not a master nor a mistress.
Fair enough. But... regardless, that's clan business.
There is no clan. Not anymore.
Do we not stand before you, then?
You stand before as individuals. The pyramid is gone. The bonds are broken. If you wish to continue to be slave to a master that no longer exists, be my guest. But I don't intend to be a slave anymore.
Sounds like you never were.
No. No, I was a slave for a long time. As I said, how is Regent Carr?
What do you know about him?
I think I know him better than you do. Both of you. After all, and he looks at you, Geordie. I am his childer.
I don't remember anything about a runaway.
No, I don't imagine he would mention his failures. Or his mistakes. But I don't intend to stay as either. What do you want with the seed?
What do you want with it?
I don't want it for anything. Iscariot wants it. They think it is the thing they are missing. And I frankly
We
don't
want
care.
it. We want it because we think it is the thing that is missing.
Seems that's going around.
Hmm.
Do you think perhaps he wants it so that he can just become the new pyramid? Do you think he ever would have left if he didn't want it for himself? Power. You say you don't want to be a slave. I've seen the way the Sabbat treat their own.
You're not wrong.
And you know, then, what's happening? Presume it's happening to you as well.
Yes. The faltering.
I'm not about
I'm-
to hand this over to the Iscariot.
How many of you are there? People of your bloodline?
I don't know. I've met many of us.
Let me be more specific. The Tremere that have broken with the clan, how many do you have?
Just me.
Why is that exactly?
Because I was abandoned. And then I was found. And now I am given a way to free myself. I'm certainly not going to say no to that.
Bernard, would you entertain the idea of going into business for yourself? Not just the Iscariot.
We're Tremere. Everything we do is for ourselves.
Would you consider a ceasefire?
I would.
An
Iscariot
aid?
would not.
Well, I didn't ask about the Iscariot, I asked about you.
Well, as I said, I would be amenable for one. The Iscariot, not so much.
Would you be willing to not tell the Iscariot of our movements? Like
No.
you said, you don't want to be slave to anyone.
Because the Iscariot is ancient.
Meaning he's already bound you to him.
Meaning he knows things.
I know how people like that know things.
Correction. It knows things. Nonetheless, as I said, I'm here for a reason, as you are.
Here's my proposal, and I'll propose it once. You get back what you lost, this faltering. You help us get it back. And we all walk away. You can follow your Iscariot to the ends of the earth.
And why should
And we'll
I
follow
trust
who we
you?
choose. The same way I should trust you. I'm trusting in your self-interest. If you've been alive this long, you're a survivor.
I am a survivor.
And you know you have to do whatever it takes to survive.
Always.
I can give you a couple nights to decide if you want them.
Very well.
But under the condition that it doesn't go to the Iscariot.
Very well.
It won't be in possession of it.
If you think you can keep it from it, then be my guest.
You can come to me when you want to make your decision. I have to discuss it with the larger part of the Tremere in the city, so...
Very well. But I also recommend that you also do take into account that I will not take any betrayal of an agreement lying down. And as well, I can make things very difficult for you and this whole city if I need to.
You did mention that.
With that, he gestures and you see one of the hooded figures come over. With that, as you look over, you can finally see what's underneath the hood. It can only be described as a terrifying creature. It has no eyes, just a giant mouth full of horrifying teeth. Its skin is almost crumbled, like it pushes upon itself, like it's been forcibly thickened and hardened. You see this long tongue that kind of lolls a little out of its mouth. And these two nostrils that sniff at the air. As I said, My people don't care about the Masquerade as much as you do.
Trust that it'll hold tonight, and that I don't take betrayal lightly either. And I have very little to lose.
And perhaps that's something we have in common. With that, he stands. I'm sure we'll talk again.
2 nights.
He nods. And think on what you're trying to rebuild. Think on if it's what the world needs.
I would challenge you to think on the same thing.
Oh, I already have. For decades upon decades. And with that, he leaves. The hooded figure is following after him.
As soon as they're out of eye shot, Cass sags in his chair a little bit. And the phone that's been, I'm assuming, relentlessly buzzing at this point. Zach can correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh yeah, no, it's been buzzing for a little bit now.
He has it in his
Jordy will-
hand, but he's gonna look to
Nope.
Jordy first.
Jordy has it in his hand.
Oh, Jordy
had
has it.
Yeah, you gave it to Jordy.
He'll hand it to you. And he's gonna walk out. Jordy's gonna walk out.
Kaz is gonna go to follow him, but put the phone to his ear and do like the shoulder holding the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Asib, we've already talked and made friends.
I've reached you finally. There's something quite suspicious. I don't know where the guard is. There's supposed to be a guard on the back docking area. In there, and it's not there. The post is open. I don't know what this means. I also don't know what spellbinder means. But yes.
Hasib, one, I don't know what spellbinder means either. Also, we just got effectively encircled by a Sabat and a bunch of hooded figures, but you're calling me to tell me that a security guard isn't at their post.
Yes. I mean, I saw that you two you aren't fighting, right? You weren't fighting. I don't see you fighting. So it looked
No,
like you
just-
had. Is everything okay? Did they do something?
I'll explain it when we get home. I have to chase after Jordy. I'll see you in a minute. And he'll end the call before Hasib says anything else.
Yeah, it's like mid word as Haseeb starts talking again.
He's jogging after Jordy.
What is Jordy doing?
Walking to the car. He's not moving fast.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Cass, you managed to catch up to Jordy, who's at the car.
Ready to head home?
Do you have something else you need to do?
Not particularly.
He'll unlock the doors and get in the driver's seat.
I'm sorry that as soon as the door shut. I'm sorry that your sire wasn't all you hoped he was.
We knew that a long time ago.
Still. That wasn't exactly a warm family reunion.
It never is with the Sabat, is it?
No. Nor with the Tremere, honestly.
They're supposed to be dead. There was a ritual 2 years ago. They were all to be eliminated.
But would your sire eliminate his own childer?
It was a ritual. It wasn't a choice who. Any that betrayed, just like their marking, you saw that. Any who were marks were dead. That's what we were told.
They were supposed to be dead. The gargoyle was supposed to be dead, both of them.
These are
I
not
assume
the
we're in
same
a
thing.
similar cab with the thing shut.
These are not similar things.
I can't say I understand it.
It was part
But-
of the original council, if it's who I think it was.
Who do you think it was?
Oratrix.
Would I know that name, Mark?
Yes, you probably would. Gortrix was a traitor to House Tremere. The worst of the worst.
If he was Bellatrix, your sire couldn't have been his sire. Your sire's not that old. No
Not
offense.
Bernard, the Iscariot.
Oh yes, we are dancing with the devil. But if it gets us our power back,
If what gets us our power back?
making a deal with them.
The deal will be changing hands. We'll report to this elder rather than the other ones. Do you think he will be any different than any of the elders you've ever met?
I'm hoping Bernard is self-interested enough that he'll work with us without involving Iscariot to a degree.
Jordy will stay silent. Continue to drive.
What choice did I have?
What choice do any of us have in anything?
I seem to remember you and Quangle a night prior preaching choice to me.
Well, you have decided for the rest of us what we are to do.
No, I gave him 2 nights, and 2 nights for me to talk to everyone else. We can still say no. I made sure there was room for that.
He speeds up. He's probably speeding at this point.
Mhm.
He doesn't speed. He's a exactly on the speed limit kind of person. Yeah. I see what proves.
You're angry.
We have no choice but to move forward with the information we have.
Jordy, would you spit out whatever you're feeling instead of going with the logical political answer?
What does it matter? How is that going to help?
It's at least going to make you seem like a person and not a chess piece.
I used to think I was moving up. Perhaps a knight, or that I was no longer a pawn. But it seems that what is choice now? Everything's a lie.
I am sorry. You had more choice than most of us. But it's not fair that everything got pulled out from under you. They only showed you the good.
I don't think what we're trading it for is any better.
Then build something better. You're the regent. There's no pyramid to control you now.
There's no order to any of this.
Make an
Regent's just
order.
a title.
Make your rules.
They won't be respected. The strength of the pyramid's gone. I can't even get you to put out a cigarette at the right place.
I told you about Caius. Would you have me tell you my life story as well? I've listened now. I want to help you build it. Make no mistake.
That's not necessary.
You're not going to do it alone. I wasn't requesting to help you, I was telling you I was going to.
We're nothing compared to elders, let alone potentially Methuselah. What are we going to do with them? I can't even get my blood sorcery to work every time.
We stay out of their way for now. Gain power, get the seed, whatever it is. We learn fast. They would have had to do it at some point. Caius isn't particularly that old a generation. So I think he enjoyed it more than most people. He likely...
I'm not worried about Caius. Not with all of
You
us.
I repeat again, you should be worried about Caius. You don't know what he can do. And
I know
he
what you
enjoys
think
it.
you can do. And I watch you
I know.
cower around him. Yet you can look at someone that says they work for the Iscariot right in the eyes with such confidence. Tell me who's backwards in this scenario, Cass.
I've never dealt with the Iscariot, but I've met monsters. The difference with Caius is that I don't think I know what he can do. I know what he can do, and that he enjoys it profusely.
Power he had came from the pyramid.
Caius doesn't
From the
fully
regents
rely on.
gave him it. No,
Caius doesn't
perhaps not.
fully.
But you have a chantry full of people of your Tremere that don't have made it known to you that they don't care to listen to him or respect him.
Do you want to know something, Jordy? I was created, embraced, shortly before coming to the chantry.
I
Caius,
remember the news, he says.
for years before that, the little home that he keeps away from all of your sires, that all of your sires let him have. There's a room there where I was for years prior to being embraced, prior to coming to your chantry. I knew about this world far before I was part of it. I know what he can do. It doesn't matter if they don't want to listen to him. I'm saying it's stupid to take him head on now. Because he's
He's going to leave
crafty.
us a little choice. He's already given us an ultimatum. It'll come to a head sooner than you think. He's
What do you
one
want?
monster. We have Assamites. We have Sabat. We have those fucking creatures. You saw their teeth. Do you think they'll treat us any better? Do you think that the Sabat don't know what torture is? What the Assamites don't know what torture is?
So you want to take him out first and then deal with the rest?
I want to be prepared for when he comes around and starts telling us what to do again.
Jordy, could you roll me a d10 and tell me high or low?
I'll go low. Hey.
Okay.
1.
You can continue the scene.
What do you want from me, Jordy? To admit that I was frightened of the Sabbat? Of course I was frightened. I looked the Nosferatu in the face all the time. They can be very scary. I just learned not to show it. If you want to take on Caius, take on Caius.
If the
I
time
can't.
comes.
I can't disobey him, Jordy.
Freedom's a funny thing, isn't it? And I'll just keep. It's probably like stopped at a stop sign, and then he goes from like 0 to 60.
I don't know if I remember what freedom is.
Kess, roll me a d10, tell me high or low.
Yep. I'm gonna say hi. God, the dice hate me. Okay.
Okay. At this point, I'd like you both to make me perception and alertness rolls.
Aspect supplies, right?
Yes, this will be difficulty 8.
If we're counting botches, 1 success. If we're not, 2.
You count boxes. Because you used Auspix.
Mhm.
Oh, you normally use Auspix. Successes.
I'll be damned. 2 on 3.
Alright.
Look at him.
So, Jordy, at first you hear, like, something strange. Sound of, like, wind blowing past the car. And then you heard too, Cass. But Jordy, you managed to realize that it's not the wind coming from the car as you're flying down. It's wind pushing down from above. That is until you suddenly hear a bang as something heavy lands on the roof, denting it inwards slightly. And you see sharp claws dig through the roof. And you see these, like, 5 points coming through the roof.
I think Jordy's gonna try and slam the brakes on and basically spin the car, trying to push enough force to send this thing off. Whatever the hell has this claw. He might
I think with
assume
this-
that this might be our flying friend.
Yeah. As we pull
Yep.
back, we see the dog-faced gargoyle that has landed on the roof of the car and has begun tearing into the roof. And it's with that we're going to cut away from the scene. And we're going to have one final scene for tonight where we focus in on Hasib. What would Hasib have done after he sees his companions leave the museum?
I think Hasib would watch them go through the last cameras that have the viewpoint, and would give a long sigh of relief. But he still glances up towards that one that shows the guard post, and he looks over to Michael and says, "Looks like our family has made it out, and they are alive and well. So, mission accomplished. Michael, thank you for your help. You were much help here, and
Nods his head and a smile kind of appears in his face with the cracking of stone. Michael helped. Actually, it'd be
Michael helped. Hasib nods and smiles as
It's
well.
with that Hasib, you see there's like a little notification you get that you have received a message on the message board, known as the RecNet.
Hasib swivels his over and I hope it's Beitgeist. I it's been a minute since I've spoken to him. Let me see. And he opens up the forum or the message on the forum.
It specifically is it's a message from Beitgeist, and it says, "Want to see something cool?"
Oh, he starts typing immediately. I love to see things that are cool. Yes.
a video file is sent through.
He opens it up and immediately full screens it.
You see a video of showing the guard post, where you see the portly looking guard exit out, readying his gun. Before you watch something from the shadows launch itself out on all fours and grab him and push him down. What you see is just out of frame, but you see like the tearing of flesh and blood beginning to spill onto the ground. You then watch as a figure walks by, stepping, just kind of ignoring what has happened. You see a figure of dark hair and steely blue eyes. The man you remember seeing talking with Kess and Geordie, as he just steps on by and looks up to the camera. And then the footage goes to static.
See, it's mouth open, just not too sure what he just saw and he's processing. He immediately picks up the phone, or calls the cell phone again, spamming
Yeah.
calls.
I think with that, we see the phone vibrating as the roof of the car is being torn into, and we will end the session there.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's
all
fine. It's fine. It's going
It'll work
to be
out great,
fine.
I think.
Yeah.
With that, we will wrap up today's session. And we will do some outros. This week, we are going to start off with Cyberbro. Why don't you give us your outro?
All right. I am Cyberbro. If you want to see more of me, you can find me on this channel here, Wednesdays, but you're here, so you know that. Or you can find me on Ticking Time Bob's channel on Tuesday evenings, where I play Sir Lucius Julius Julianus along with Emily. Yeah, but today I played Dr. Quangle and I don't know, my wife.
My wife.
My wife. Yep, that's me.
Very nice. Up next, our dear Zach. Why don't you give us an outro?
Yeah, I'm Zach. I played Hasib Kavisna, the operator for tonight. He was super helpful. Kess would agree completely 100% that Hasib has been super helpful. And he got to spend some time with Michael, which was just wonderful. Michael totally understood what computers were and what he was doing, but having
Exactly.
fun at the chantry while people
He
are
just
dying.
wants to be helpful. That's all Michael wants.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right, then. Next up, Ree. Why don't you give us your outro?
Hey everyone, I'm Ree. I played Maruna tonight, and wow, a lot of stuff this session. A lot of cliffhangers, so very excited to see what happens next week. And in addition to here, you can also catch me on Mondays with Mortal Rolls. We do a Pathfinder 2nd edition homebrew game that's a lot of fun, so you should check it out. And I'm also going to be with Mark as well on Ticking Time Bob channel this Saturday for Legend of the Five Rings game.
Very nice. And up next, Emily. Why don't you give us your outro?
Hi, I'm Emily. I played Cass Price. It's fine. It's gonna be fine. The dice hated Cass tonight a little bit. But it was a time. And Cyberbro already plugged, I believe, the game that I was going to, so I'm good.
All right, cool. And last but certainly not least, Bob, why don't you give us your outro?
Hey everyone, Taking Time Bob Gaming here. I played the mid-level manager, Jordy, who's going to report you to the higher-ups for your poor performance. We do a lot of Pendragon over on my channel 3 times a week. Come check it out. I also wanted to shout out TTRPG Talks, which is on my YouTube. You can look up Taking Time Bob Gaming or TTRPG Talks, and you should find it. A couple months ago, we interviewed Matthew Dawkins, who was involved in Chicago by Night, Cults of the Blood Gods, Fall of London, a whole bunch of other World of Darkness stuff. And our most recent interview was with Sandy Peterson, of Call of Cthulhu. So yeah, it's a pretty great thing if you want to get to know at a deeper level some of the game designers responsible for some of the games we love. I encourage you to check it out.
Very nice. And I have been Mark, aka the CatsMeow. Welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy your stay and have enjoyed watching this current adventure. And I hope you'll join us next time as we find out what has happened to a number of our dear Tremere. This is my House of Tremere game. I also have some other games that are currently in the pipeline and will be released soon enough. I should have a new series in the next month or so, and then about a month after that, I will have 2 new series, which I will be debuting. Until then, I hope you've enjoyed. I'd like to give the following shout-outs to wonderful people. One to Lorenz Factor, longtime friend of the channel, who subscribed this today. And one very big thank you to Ivorcreosis? I'm probably saying that wrong, so do correct me if you can, but Ivorcreosis gave us 10 gifted... Say it with an L.
Liver cirrhosis?
Yeah.
Liver cirrhosis.
Liver cirrhosis.
Liver cirrhosis.
Nonetheless, big thank you very much. Sorry I can't say your name correctly. And thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs. We really appreciate it. And I hope you enjoy watching the stream. And if you manage to catch up on all the other stuff. And hope to see all of you next week as we continue us off with episode 11. I hope you are excited for the chaotic blood sorceryness of it all. And also, as always, a big thank you to Ree for all the lovely art that she has done for us in the channel, as well as this lovely overlay. All thanks to her. Check out her thing.
Instagram.
Instagram, that's it.
I'll put a thing in here.
Instagram. I'm sure the plug will be somewhere posted in the chat. With that, I think we're gonna raid out because we got a good amount of people on here. So yeah.
I propose if there's no one in World of Darkness, you can do our friends in Blackwater D&D.
D&D. Oh, it seems we do have one, which is by Working Class Werewolf. Let's go say hi. So with that, we will see you all next week for those who are around. And if you're watching on the VOD, make sure to follow, like, comment, and subscribe. All that stuff. Thank you so much for all of you who have joined us. And we shall see you all next. Until then, goodbye.